It may not seem likely that the poor will rise up and be organized and change the city government or the city cops, but change is inevitable. I had a friend that used to pose the question, if you were suddenly thrown overboard and you were miles from shore, what would you do? And he said, well, what I would do would be I'd take a deep breath and I'd dive as far as I could and let the breath out to get it over with. And I said, I would start swimming toward shore, even if it was 50 miles away, because you never know what's gonna happen. Maybe a helicopter will pick you up. And so I think that's what they're doing. They're swimming toward shore as best they can and inspiring a whole lot of other people. All the theories I had as a young man have been shattered. And I feel like all I want to do now is serve food to people. I don't really know how to phrase a utopian society or a better society, except to use cliches. But the fact that people are trying, and Brendan and Willa's Viva House has a whole lot of people trying to be of help. And right now, that's as far as I can see, right in front of my face.
The bottom has fallen out in cities like Baltimore. In this neighborhood that you're in now, we have over 50% of the people are unemployed. We have lost over 150,000 manufacturing jobs in Baltimore City. So there really just is no work unless you have quite a bit of an education. And many people have moved out just completely despairing that they would get work in Baltimore City. So that puts people on the street. And it also is a wide opening for a drug trade where a real income could be made. There's kids in the neighborhood who make more money than their parents or their guardians just selling the drugs.
We moved in 1968. The house was vacant for several months, and the ceilings falling down. It was a mess. So instead of putting up ceilings, we put up posters on the ceilings. So,
to keep the plaster from falling.
To keep the plaster from falling, and our daughter was like a young one at the time. She thought that's how everybody lived, with these posters on their ceiling, and our table was on the floor, this little floor we'd sit and eat. One of the reasons we chose this house is it's a block off Baltimore Street. Baltimore Street traditionally has been the dividing line between Black people, the African American community, and the white community. And so we thought if we lived on the border of this community, we could be part of and be friends with
both communities, yeah.
Yes.
And Baltimore Street itself divides the city north and south. So we're a block and a half south of Baltimore Street. Back then, we just had that one building. This wasn't until 1985 that we got the second building. So, and the age of these buildings themselves goes back to 1870. So you're starting with an old building to begin with. The first people to stay with us in October were families or people who were on trial for burning draft records. in Catonsville. We've been able to raise the money for the food and for everything, mainly because nobody gets paid. So any money or food that people give us, they could come that day and see it going right out. And I think that's probably, that's a key reason why it's still going. We have a lot of people working with us, so it's really not us.
The idea is that the chicken will go to mac and cheese. Then it's going to be ravioli and salad. Six raviolis.
In Baltimore, what's changed is a tremendous influx of wealth, particularly down around the harbor. You know the concept of the 1% versus the rest of us. Well, that's where the money goes. If you go down to the harbor and walk in any direction 1 mile, you'll find a completely different Baltimore. Rents in some places now run $2,500 a month, which is, of course, well beyond anything people have here.
A whole long column of all his medical achievements. I mean, he was like Hopkins researcher par excellence. And then toward the end of the article it says, and then on holidays he washed dishes at Viva House.
And he did.
So, he did.
And when he washed dishes, he put on his long gloves and had boiling water, and you never saw him turn around. You just saw his elbows, and he was down like that. And he wouldn't come upstairs.
He brought his own lunch.
He brought his own lunch. That's right. He wouldn't even come upstairs until after every dish was done. So that was meant for him.
All right. Andre did his surgery. He can see us all now.
2 weeks from now, I get the other eye done.
You'll be watching us today.
And listen, what I'm going to do.
I'm going to be running
You're running
plates today.
There is the fear that everybody in the neighborhood has too about the living conditions. Like they just did a study, and in the whole state of Maryland, people who live in an area of this zip code, it has a life expectancy 10 years less than anywhere else in the state. You could see what that would mean. So I don't know if you call that a fear, but it's something you're constantly is on your mind, how bad things are down here. And you don't see how it's going to improve because they're not trying to improve what's going on in this neighborhood. They're trying to create neighborhoods downtown. And as they move further from the downtown, the hope is that these people will move out. And then we'll only have a Baltimore of taxpayers. It's reversing who's here. And where these people are going to go, because they've become expendable labor, is a question that nobody's dealing with.
Several walks of people come to the Viva House and other soup kitchens, whether you're homeless, you just lost your job, or even if you do have a job. Like myself, I receive Social Security. But I come down here once in a while, you know. I might be low on food or don't have food or something like that. But, hey, I see a lot of people in soup kitchens at churches and stuff getting food bags who do have jobs. The economy sucks. They keep voting in these stupid politicians who lie and steal and don't look out for our best interests. So it's all about greed, really. But that's the way of the world.
That's great. That looks beautiful. Absolutely.
Every neighborhood, every place should be able to be self-sustaining as far as it can go. Nobody should have more than they need when others lack necessities. And that should be the ruling thing. And that would be just justice. Has nothing to do with charity or anything like that. People have a right to food, clothing, shelter, and safety. The city reflects what's going on nationwide.
And, you know, put that in the fridge when you get home, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I would like some kale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever eat kale soup? We do that up in New England all the time.
Oh,
Kale
yeah.
soup is very, very
Yeah.
good. All right, my friend. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome. Just go right down where the yellow chair
I've been coming here for like 6 years, and what brought me here was I was homeless, so, you know, looking for a meal. But this place right here is not only just to get food, it's a good sanctuary to come in and talk, get good fellowship. You know, I tell people, I meet people, and I say, look, I'm gonna take you to my restaurant, you know, have a nice time. And, oh, and then the young lady, and they be like, sure. And I come here and bring them here, and they look like, I thought we were going to a restaurant. This is my restaurant. I mean, and certain people look down on certain people, certain things, you know, a soup kitchen, you know. So how would she react if I bring her here? You know, it's like, would a young girl be scared to put a worm on a hook? So if she's not willing to put a worm on a hook, she might not be for me, you know what I mean? You know, she's scared to get her hands dirty. So if she looks down on this, she looks down on me, you know what I mean? Because this has been part of my life for 6 years, and I want a person that's gonna not just lift me up or her up, but lift the community up. And this is a great place to do it, whether you eat here or volunteer here or whatever. It's a great place.
Brendan, are we gonna make more sandwiches?
No, there's no more to make.
Okay, so we're good.
Just check the 2 refrigerators.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
If you're on the street or you're down and out, what's the hardest thing? And it's the loneliness, that it seems as if nobody cares that you're on the street. Companionship is going and stuff like that. So loneliness is a big part of being hungry and homeless.
93?
When you're doing the soup kitchen, it looks like it's endless. It's not going to end ever. To me, it's the only thing that makes sense in a city like Baltimore or in the United States. There's such a disparity of wealth, and capitalism is the overriding concern. And I was brought up learning that the common good was the overriding concern. So just sticking with that makes for a full life, I think. Problems in this country stem from our acceptance of a filthy, rotten system. And the filthy, rotten system includes capitalism, racism, sexism, and militarism. That's the system. Wherever people are doing resistance to that system in a nonviolent way, we work with them, and they work with us.
I like Viva House. It's a place that when you come here, when you leave out the house, you leave from here, you ain't gonna be the same, because it's like, it's more, it's different. It's like, I can't explain it. It's like a comfort. It's like a comfort.
Serving 180 or 200 meals on a Wednesday has a very concrete impact, that individual human beings get a full belly for a few hours. Over the years, they've done many other things here besides giving food away. What they do is well known. And you never know the impact that you're having. And you don't know if it will bear fruit. And you don't know whether society will be upturned. But you do know that you're swimming towards shore.